What's up, everybody? This is Den Money. I do have to apologize. I had intended to play these hands live and do the commentary live as I did. However, I am not skilled in the fact of recording off the computer. So when I went back to watch it before I uploaded it, you couldn't even tell what my cards were right now, much less what I'm betting or what's going on. So I am loading this into Hold'em Manager and going to just talk about the hands. We're going to go through them just as I would. Just unfortunately, it's already been done at this point. I hope to do better in the future. We are going to play these with this being the first one. We're only going to play a small number of hands. Um, I am hoping to kind of follow a few set of rules. This is our first one. I am going to play very tight. It's low stakes. So I won't be playing bluffing a lot. We're pretty much going to work on the assumption we're not going to bluff, that nobody's bluffing us. Um, that's generally kind of what I've seen so far before I've actually dove in. So we're going to go with that and talk about why we're doing what we're doing. Again, I am no expert, and I'm sure I'm going to do plenty of this wrong, but it's a learning experience for everybody. So um, here we go. So my first hand, I get big blind, and this is in Zoom, by the way, so the blinds will jump all over the place. You're not missing any hands, just FYI. So the first hand, I'm big blind. It folds around, small blind calls, and basically we get a free look. I'm not going to try to bluff anything with 8-10. Kind of whiff on the flop there. He checks, I check back. At this point, we had an up and down straight draw. I could have made a bet, maybe should have, not really sure. He bets half the pot, fold because I have nothing, and he did have nine. We were behind. All right, next hand, we're under the gun. King seven suited. I don't even remember why I decided to play this one, but I did. Raised to 10 cents, three players. Um, totally missed. Checks around. I checked. Again, still missed. Bet out 5 cent. I think at this point my thought process was 5 cents. I was kind of priced in. Um, five into 30. I felt kind of priced in. Why not? See the turn, see the river card at this point, just to see what comes up. There's not a lot that can make my hand, but it is kind of a price. I did get lucky and spike the king. Um, it checks to me. That pretty much told me that I think I was, I'm ahead at that point. Pretty much if I think the small blind just bet to see if we'd fold before. If somebody's got a piece of this, I don't think they have a large piece of it. Maybe an eight, maybe a five, possibly a 10. Um, I'm pretty sure I'm ahead. I don't see somebody having ace king or two pair at this point, where they would have played it a lot different before that king came out. So I go ahead and bet 10 cents into the pot just because I want a caller. I end up getting one caller out of the two, and Jack 10 he did have. So, all right, next hand, Deuce 5 under the gun. You pretty much fold that. Jack 4, um, folded that. Jack 5 moved up in the world a little bit. It is suited, and I could do like my brother does and play anything suited, but that's not really my style. I think, maybe in a tournament, maybe if it was deeper in a cash game. Like I said, this smaller stakes, I don't really want to put myself in a position to bluff or try to bluff any cards. So fold. King Jack on the big blind. That's not a horrible hand, but nobody really wanted to play me, so got got it for free. Let's see. Come on. Nine Jack suited. Now I do have to say, if you watch me play, you will learn from the little bit I played. Jack 9, Jack 8 suited. I might as well just give my money away. Um, I'm not saying they're not good hands, and they're hands that you can probably play very well. I'm saying I cannot play them very well. Probably on Jack suited, Jack 9, Jack 10, Jack 8, even maybe Queen Jack. I probably lose more mans on money on those hands than anything I play. Granted, I don't play a lot. Most of what I play is basement games here or there when I get time, but I don't know what it is. It must be the jack. I see a jack and I cringe. Give me pocket jacks, I might as well just push my chips in and leave. I don't know. It's just not my forte. But anyway, of course, I go ahead and bet, and I raise the pot. I'm not big on limping in. If I'm going to get in first, I'm going to raise just to see if I can take it down. It is min raise. I'm not trying to push a lot in. It goes around. I get called. Flop comes out. King deuce 3. I do have a backdoor flush draw. He checks. I don't think he has the king at this point, so I'm not really sure what he has. He's big blind. He probably could have a lot. He was almost priced in. At this point, the card looks a little better because now I'm a little more on the way to the backdoor flush draw. However, he leads in and bets 2/3 the pot or more. I don't have a lot other than a flush draw, but again, not learning my lessons, I go ahead and call. 7 comes out. It's a total brick for me. He checks. I thought about trying to take it down. My only concern was what he had, because if he let out, he did have me beat. Obviously, he didn't have a pair or anything, but I don't know. I wasn't willing to go pot at that point, and I'm not really sure what half pot would have really got him off that. I'm not really sure. Probably would have hindsight again, but again, I don't play jacks very well. All right. Next hand, pocket kings. Well, this hand I can play a little better. It gets folded around to me. I don't really get any action. I thought about limping, but I will get myself in trouble with limping, so I raise 3 times. Big blind. You can't see the time lapse in here, but he pretty much snap raises me 3 times my raise. What that told me, and the impression, my first thought, and I try to go with my first gut instinct for now, is that he's just trying to protect his big blind. I didn't think he really had anything. I think he's just trying to protect it. So I shoved on him. I figure, worst case scenario, he's got pocket aces, but the chances of that, how slim that is in this position. Maybe he's got ace king, maybe he's got ace queen, but most likely I feel he was just trying to protect his big blind and thought I was trying to bully him out of it. So I'm willing to go to a showdown with pocket kings to double up. He pondered it for a minute or two and then folded. Through Hold'em Manager, I don't know how familiar everybody was with it, and I just learned this too. You can actually see some of the whole cards in it, and he did have it. I was so curious about it. I went back and looked. He had deuce 3 offsuit, so he was just trying to protect. So that was a decent pot for us. That put us up a little bit from what we had lost earlier. So this point, we come in King 10. King 10 is one of them hands that sometimes I play well, sometimes I don't. It can kind of go both ways. This was a flat call. Pot comes out 7-8-3, 2 diamonds. He checks. At this point, I'm thinking I'll bet to try to take it down, just see what happens. He calls, checks to me, so I go ahead and check, and then the ace comes out, and he bets. That pretty much, to me, told me that he had ace something, ace something, but well, he actually, I never looked to see what he actually had. He had the same hand I had. I guess he was trying to buy it, but it wasn't worth. I didn't see the value in calling it at that point because so many people will play ace and ride it out at the lower stakes. So I just went ahead and folded, cut my losses there. Next hand, 7-5 under the gun. We fold 4-10 on the small blind. Not and a three times raise. Not getting involved in that hand. Jack-7 in the small blind. 3 callers at 3 times the big blind. We're gonna go ahead and fold. Let's see what they had. Just curious at this point. Big blind had King-10. Pair of 4s, pair of 3s, and a pair of 7s. Let's just see how this one played out. Let's not skip. So you had 4 callers at 15 cents each. Ace, queen, 6. Here, I'll even turn on the win percentage for this one for you. At this point, King-10's drawing dead. Pair of 3s, pair of 4s, pair of 3s. I don't feel that's accurate at this point. Yeah, 84%. I'm not, unless y'all are seeing something I'm not. I'm thinking the 7s are ahead at this point. Yeah, King-10 can't be drawing dead either. All right, not really sure what's going on. We're just going to turn that off because I'm not really sure what's calculating here. But from there, looks like it checks pretty much all the way around. 5 comes out. King-10 bets. The 4s call, 3s fold, 7s fold. King comes out, he spikes King on the end, 15, and takes it down. I guess not too bad of a play. Next hand, Deuce-4. Unless I get a free look, I'm sure I'm not doing that. And at that point, I pretty much had already folded before I even waited. Queen-5, not a big fan. I know some people like playing queen something low, especially suited. I see that a lot in the home games I'm in. I don't really play that. I'm not. I mean, maybe generally I kind of, if I don't play a hand, I get just nothing for 8, 9, 10 hands in a row. I'll play. I just tell myself I'm playing whatever the next two, whatever the next hand is. And a lot of times, what I'll do is I'll put a range in my mind. Say Jack-10, Queen-Jack, or King-10, Queen-10 suited, or something around that range. And regardless what my cards are, I'm gonna play it as if I had, that hand. Unless my cards are actually better in that position, but I don't think this was one of those positions where I'd been out long enough, so I went ahead and folded. 4-7 suited, not feeling that one. 10-8 on the button. I will play 10-8 sometimes. I like connectors that are that have space in the middle. 8-10. 7-9. If 4-6 offsuit is actually my favorite hand to play. I do really well with that hand for some reason. I guess probably because I know when to get rid of it, and I know when I can play it. So that is. But 10-8 I sometimes play. 2 callers in front of me. 3 times big blind. Not really getting involved in that one. 9-deuce. Yeah, not getting involved there. 6-10 in the small blind suited. Comes 12 cents, raise a little over 2 times, a little over min raise, but nothing really worth playing. Ace-8, I figured it is an ace. What everybody else does, why not? So I go in, I have 1 min raise, I have 2 callers. Flop comes out 2-4-6. I could use my 4-6 offsuit right here. I get a check. I go ahead and bet, just a bet. Take it down, don't have to worry about it. Again, next hand, Ace-8. Had good luck the last time, so this time I decided to play it a little different, limp in. The hand right after me goes 5 times my bet. Everybody folds, and I'm pretty sure I folded here too. And he had pocket queens, so. Queen-7, again, one of them hands I don't like to play. I mean, obviously, you get a free look. I'm going to get a free look. Two callers at a little over 3 times the bet. Not going to do much more on there. 5-4 offsuit. If I was in late position and I was first in the pot, I would probably play that. I like playing 5-4 as well. Like I said, 4-6 is my favorite. I like the lower connectors or things like that to me, it makes it harder to recognize, but I'm not playing it in early position either. So King 3, no, not big on it. Ace 10, I do like Ace 10. I went in this time just to vary it out a little bit. A lot of times I've been going min raise and things like that on Ace X. I figured I'd go 3 times the big blind. Pretty much just took it down there on the spot. So good old 7 deuce. I actually like playing 7 deuce sometimes because just nobody knows what you have. Obviously, nobody's thinking you're gonna play 7 deuce, but once the button raised for 3 times, I was out on that one. Jack 4 in the big blind comes around to me. I really don't remember my thought process here. I think it had been a while since I won a hand, and I was starting to get antsy. So I put some money in. I went ahead and called 5 cents to the min raise. Flop comes out 10-10 king. He actions on me. I check. He bets in pot, and I fold at that point. Queen 10. So I guess that was a. I kind of expected him just to have ace high or something like that, but I wasn't gonna. I didn't want to throw my money away on Jack 4, so I wasn't really willing to get any more involved in that. 7-10. Nothing really to play there, obviously. 5-6. Now this is one of them hands I do like I said. Only 1 or 2 left to act after me. Again, it had been a while. I was starting to get antsy. So I went in, min raise. Goes around, somebody raised 5 times the big blind. I had a call at 5 times the big blind. There was nothing I needed to get involved in that heavy on that. Turns out it was aces against 2s. So it's probably best. And I think this one actually went down. He flopped trips. I do remember that. Yep. So that was probably a pretty wise decision not to get involved. 5-6. I did have a gut shot, but it's not worth it. Queen deuce. No, nothing to really play. 3-9. Nothing to really play. 5-7 in the small blind. Raised 3 times the big blind on the button. There's times I would play that just because I get bored. I'm actually kind of surprised, as bored as I was at this point, I didn't do it, but it's probably best I not. So king deuce in the small blind. I thought about with a king, raising it up. He had king deuce too, so there's no really telling how that would have played out, but not really wanting to get involved. Queen 9. Now this hand I like a little more. I do remember this one starting to make. I was wondering what's going on because under the gun raised. Then we had a min raise on that across the table. Come around, so I just again not really wanting to get involved, and so ace 3, king 10. So we were probably behind at that one. So king 5. I actually like king 5, believe it or not. I was trying to play a little tighter, not. I really basically, even if it's a small victory, I wanted to come out ahead on my first session, and that's times I've made a good amount, and there's times I've lost a good chunk of my stack as well. So even though it's can be very, very minimal, it was real important to me to come out ahead, to start this experiment good. So again, we're just playing lower stakes at first, and we'll start, if we can start building up a little bit, we'll start moving up. We're going to play some tournaments, but wasn't looking to get involved, basically. Jack 5, nothing to really get involved in. Deuce 5, definitely nothing to get involved in, and under the gun. King 7 suited in small blind. I do like that, but we had a 4 times big blind under the gun. Nothing really to do there. Ace 9, surprised he went there, but sure. But either way, I figured we were behind. King Jack, again, one of them hands that it's a pretty decent hand, and I play it horrible. So once we went a little over 3 times the big blind, I just don't, I don't want to I don't want to get involved in, and I have that stipulation of I don't play jacks well in my head, which probably doesn't help me anyway. Um, I know that's part of my game I need to work on, and the only way to get better at it is to do it. But at this point, again, like I said, I want to get off to a good start. So y'all can criticize it in the comments. I'm sure people will, but like I said, very new at playing online poker. I've only done it a couple times. I've watched my brother play. Um, I'm familiar with poker. I've watched poker forever. They don't have it around where I'm at, so it's home games once a month. I'm on vacation and there's a casino with a poker room that I might go to one night for a couple hours. That's pretty much the extent of my poker playing. So next hand, 8-9 offsuit, big blind. I do like 8-9 offsuit. Didn't get a chance to play it, but I'm a fan of it. Ace 3. Um, not really gonna get involved. I don't. I'm not a huge fan on the lower ace X, even though ace 5 and below people like to play just because of the straight potential. It just really depends how I'm kind of running at that point, how I'm feeling about it. So of course they give it to me again. Um, why wouldn't they? Jack 10. So this time somebody pops it up 3 times big blind. I figured, I guess it had been a while. Not really sure what I was thinking here. And of course the flop comes out. Now we do have 2 overs. It checks to me, I check back. 5 comes out, checks to me, so I bet in. A little surprised, he folded. I mean, it would seem to me, I guess he's assuming I had a 5, and once I made a set, I was betting. Not really sure. He had Queen Jack, so he did have me beat. But again, it's one of them. I probably should have bet right on the flop, but again, I have that hesitation on the jack hands. 3-4 suited. I like it. Not under the gun. Queen 4 under the gun. Definitely not playing. 4-6 offsuit. 4-6 offsuit. I love. It is my favorite hand. So I go ahead and min raise. I get a raise back to me. Um, and so I shove all in, which I probably shouldn't have with 4-6. Um, he's holding ace jack. I would have been in very, very bad position. But, it's one of the things that I don't think about. I'm so confident in the fact of how I play 4-6 that I wasn't thinking. I mean, really, that's what it comes down to is hindsight. That was not one of my better plays. And if my goal was to come out ahead, I pretty much almost come out broke right there. But in hindsight, well, that was probably one of our better pots of the session, right there. Um, it was dirty, but you know what? It gets done. Next hand, pocket tens. I guess this is the karma working out because I lead min raise under the gun with pocket tens. I get a 3 times my bet call or bet. The big blind actually calls, and so I call. Flop comes out ace 9-5. Now at this point, I probably feel I'm behind because I feel like one of these people are playing aces. I get a check. I try to lead into the pot for about, what was that about? Just which was about 92 cents, so about a third pot. I get a call, 2 calls. Next one's a queen. At this point, I get a check. I try to lead in again, get a call, 2 calls. At this point, I do realize that I'm behind, that maybe I shouldn't be leading in this pot, that things are not looking well for me. Last one comes out, it's a 5. It is a spade. I'm not feeling the flush. I get a check. I just go ahead and check. This player leads out for, for half pot. At this point, I really feel, I remember thinking to myself, ace 5. I just felt ace 5 that he was playing, or, something along that lines, ace 9, ace 5. I really thought ace 9 originally, and then ace 5, possibly queen 9. I remember thinking that, but every scenario I could come up with in my head, I was behind. And I was. I ended up folding here. But king 9, was here, nines and fives. He actually had pocket nines, which I will tell you was not one of my thoughts. The pocket nines I did not consider in that position. Looking back, 3 times my bet to protect pocket nines. That does make a lot of sense, and the way he played it made pretty good sense. Flopping trips on the flop. So that is one of those learning experiences. This is one of the hands I've marked for myself to go back and kind of remember and study, but I definitely got myself, more into the hand than I needed to, and I probably should have checked earlier on to watch how he led in, because with him just calling my bets and then calling here with the big blind calling, I wasn't getting a lot of information. So that was kind of an error on my part, I feel, but that's part of this learning experience. All right, next hand, 3-8 and big blind, 3 times raise, nothing to do at that point. Work account problem. Next hand, 4-6 offsuit. Again, love the 4-6 offsuit. I raise. I get a fold, take down the pot. Ace king on the button. Folds around to me. I raise 4 times big blind. I get a call. I do spike the king, so 3 king 9. Player checks to me. I go ahead and bet half pot, and he folds. 6-8 offsuit. Again, no, that's actually another hand I'd like to play. Not as much as the 4-6 offsuit, but with under the gun raising, I didn't feel a need to get involved. Next hand, king 4. I end up folding that one. 8-10 in the big blind. Comes around to me 3 times. Two better, button and the big or small blind, 3 times big blind. Nothing I'm going to get involved in there. 5 deuce on the button with a 3 times big bet, big blind, not getting involved. 9-10 offsuit. Folds around to me. I go ahead and min raise it. Pretty much nobody has anything that they want to play at that point, so that's an easy takedown. Queen 8 offsuit. One of them hands that I don't play very well sometimes, and sometimes I do pretty well. So this point, I just had gotten back to even from the loss earlier, so I kind of didn't want to put myself back in that hole. 8 deuce in the small blind. Comes around to me, nothing to play there. 5-3 on the button. Folds around to me. I thought about doing something at that point. I never looked to see what they had. King 6, King 3. I might have got some action, might have folded. Not really sure. Like I said, I was right about even and really wanted to do something. So one of my last hand, Ace 8 or Ace 4, comes around. I raise. Folds to the big blind. Folds all the way around. And take down that pot. The numbers are off here a little bit. I will tell you all that. So overall, on this session, we ended up coming out, I think 23 cents ahead. I don't know. Maybe I missed a hand in here. Not really sure. What was that? Ace 4? Ace 4, yes. 7 cents. Not really sure. Oh, I played the hands backwards. That's what's happened. The final hand was the first hand I showed you. So I actually played my hands backwards from how we originally did it. So again, another learning lesson, but that means that the final hand was this one where we got the king 7. That was the one where we finally kind of got spiked the king, had a good pot and put us up. Went into the very final hand in the big blind, 8-10. Um, it was folded to me, and that was the one we didn't do a lot with. I don't think the hands are in order. Maybe that's it. But I do know we ended up the session 23 cents up. So in the end, we did finish up. Um, that's about a 10. It was just shy of a 10% increase, or no, not 10%, 5% increase of what we went into the session with. My goal was to try to do a 10% increase, but at the up and down, I just figured that was a good point to stop. I wanted to play right around 50 hands. Played 58. So I do appreciate y'all watching. Please let me know your thoughts on some of the hands. Let me know better ways we could have played them. Um, how you would have played them a little different, but still trying to be tight. And we will kind of go from there. I do hope to kind of do this live next time without having to go back and replay it. I do definitely want to do it live and talk about it while we're doing it. So best luck to everybody out there, and look forward to hearing your comments.